a message for my people.
Nick Dad, baby. We the new label.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on, son.
Now this the black sheep, sticking it to him. I need a crib like I'm Gatsby.
I need it.
In hand, just understand my
Pockets that deep.
with nothing to prove. I ain't got nothing to do. When they can't compete and I got nothing to lose. You see, they told me I'm the
Yes,
one
what's
that's
good,
gonna
everybody? We're back in studio. I know, George, I've been getting a lot of comments saying that it feels weird not getting us twice a week on the airways. We will be back come football season twice a week, as always. Make sure you're a subscriber to the show. All things Veterans Minimum are at Veterans Minimum. Patreon, $1 American a month. That's all we're asking for. Patreon.com/Veterans Minimum. To my left, my dog,
Dude,
Mr. George Carmona.
present. I have a question to ask you.
Okay.
If you have a dog or a pet, does that mean that we also get to celebrate Father's Day? Because we are the father to that animal? Or is that like weak shit and I should get out of my feels about not getting anything for Father's Day? Because I have 2 turtles, I have a dog, I have a cat. Where the fuck is my breakfast in bed? Where is my card? Where is my pampering? It is my day for being a father to as many animals. I'm practically running a zoo, Nick. You, yourself, you have a dog? Did you feel some type of way? Nothing got sent from your family saying, hey, happy Father's Day? You're
No,
doing
I
great
saw
out
something
there.
that said that like $10 billion more is spent on Mother's Day than Father's Day. In regards to your animals, yeah. Like I call Darce my son, my firstborn. I've made jokes many times on social media that I've been a father for years. You know, I have a lot of sons in the game, no matter what the game is. Father's Day is what Brian is saying.
That's funny.
You like
That's
that
a
one?
good- that's
a
clever.
good one.
That's clever.
That's a good one.
That's clever. But what do I do with turtles?
I'll
They
tell
have
you this
fins.
much.
Not fins,
I
but
called
you
my
get it.
dad for Father's Day, and I was like, yo, Pops, happy Father's Day. I love you. Thank you. Immediately, he goes, what are we betting on? Because it was the FIFA World Cup. And I was like, listen, this is why you're my dog. This is why you're my number one. Thank you. You know how much you mean to me. He's like, let's get to the enough with the, you know, like, let's get right to it, bro. And I was telling you a story before we started filming. I don't know if you've ever been like depressed or like felt anxious or whatever it might be, but like I had a couple of dark times in my life when I was trying to figure out if I wanted to do the content stuff or if I was going to be a police officer. And then like the pandemic hit and I lost $50,000 on the food truck and all this stuff was going on. I remember just one day, you know, like I'm leaning on the edge of the car and I just go to my dad and he's smoking a cigarette sitting on the side of the car. And I just go, yo, Pops, I'm probably what, like 2020, what was I, 28, 29? Let's say 29. I go, Dad, man, I feel lost. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm being pulled in different directions. Like, I kind of need a break. I need to find myself. It was like the moral of the story. Dad takes a drag of the cigarette, walks around me, walks past me, comes back. He goes, you're right here. I found you. He's like, what are we doing? Go make these sandwiches and this coffee, bro. I can't be hearing this stuff. He's like, he's like, I've tried to find myself for fucking 57 years.
God damn, dude.
But yo, listen, that's
a bold move.
Yeah, listen.
You were lost.
I was lost.
You were
I felt
being
lost.
open.
But, you know, like for me personally, bro, like I don't suggest that for everyone, right? Like I'm sure there's people you know that you could speak to a certain way. And then there's other people where like you could speak to a different way as well.
Yeah.
I'm one where it's like, Nick, what the fuck you doing? Tell me, as opposed to like, no, dude, you're not a loser. No, I definitely was.
Yeah.
I want to hear, I'd rather you tell me like, yo, you're being a loser as opposed to, I think it's worse.
Dude, okay, so I obviously feel the way that a coach would feel. And, you know, obviously we all go through tough times, son, but, you know, your team's counting on you. That's the mentality that I have.
Yeah.
Even if, Nick, life itself is a solo game. We choose to play it as a team.
I like this.
We go out, we get friends, we decide to spend time with family. You're building your team. When you yourself don't show up day in and day out, your team notices.
Yeah.
and you are letting them down, whether or not you guys are actually, doing anything or, trying to make plans and they don't go through. You need to get out of the, like the tennis mentality or the golf mentality where it's like, it's just me and my problems. And I think you've said this plenty of times with your jiu-jitsu coach, it's like, you have to be okay with knowing who your team is to talk to your team. You went to like the GM of the team and the GM was like, fuck your problems. Like, I need you to show up. And so that's good.
Yeah.
Because that's what a GM would do on a team.
Yeah. No, I like that. I like what you said about like
the
athlete and coach mentality, because like, if you played any sports at any level, it's like, don't quit on your teammates.
Yep.
It's not about you. It's about the name on the front, not the back.
Mm-hmm.
And in order for the name on the back to be good, the name on the front needs to flourish. So I get that. Yeah. And, it is Men's Mental Health Month, and, we're being a little silly here, but we've talked about in the past, like we've all had our issues. And like, honestly, bro, do you want a life where you don't have no issues? Like, I think it builds character. I think like if you get out of it, and, unfortunately some people, they haven't been able to, or it's been really bad for them. It's been bad for me too, dude. I've had suicidal thoughts. I've been super depressed. They wanted to put me on antidepressants. I'm like, I don't really want to take medication. I hate taking pills of any form. I take allergy pills because it looks like I'm on fucking fentanyl when you see me out in the fucking springtime, and I look fucking high as a kite. Like my eyes are all watery. I'm sneezing. Shit. It's been a mess. But for me, it's like everybody deals with it in different ways. But
I had to be a teacher and have to be soft with all these kids. So I had kids coming to me with problems that could be easily solved by things that your parents should have instilled in you. And it's time to grow up, buddy. You're 16 years old now.
Yeah.
People aren't going to keep babying your ass. Yeah. So that part of me, I wish that I wasn't a teacher, because then you can kind of be more honest and open. Like when I was a coach, oh yeah, we're going with the coach answer. You got to fucking toughen up. But as a teacher, I couldn't do that. That sucked.
Yeah. So this is a good little segue, because for those of you that are not soccer fans, the FIFA Club World Cup is happening. And I'll be honest with you, bro, as a big soccer fan, I was kind of ignoring it. I was like, are they really going to play guys? Are like the big names on these teams going to play? Oh, they're playing. There's a lot of money at stake. It's kind of like a trial run of what the World Cup is going to look like next year. Couple stadiums are struggling to sell out, but it's like lackluster teams. But then PSG, who won Champions League 2 weeks ago, they played Atletico Madrid. It was 80,000 people at the Rose Bowl.
Jeez.
Shit was packed. So obviously, like the level of competition, right? With that, did you see what happened with Bayern Munich? It made a lot of headlines.
This was the 10-0 ass kicking.
Yes.
Go into it though, because I'm cash in the soccer world. So
I love this topic because I feel like we've discussed this in the past. So Bayern Munich goes out there and they're legit. They're playing Auckland City. They're a legitimate amateur team. Like the goalkeeper had to take time off from work at a fucking warehouse in order to live out a dream to go play against like Bayern Munich and these teams, right? They lost 10-0.
Yeesh.
And the conversation became, was this disrespectful? Is this out of line? Uncalled for?
Yeah.
How long do you know me?
It's 3 years, 4 years now.
All right. Have I not always told you, if you do a athletic venture, any sport, track and field, combat sports, I do jiu-jitsu, what do I always say about what happens when you step on the field?
Hey, this is what you signed up for, champ.
This is what you signed up for, champ. When you step on the field, you're signing a waiver that you might get mauled.
Mm-hmm.
You might get embarrassed. You're going to get disrespected. And that's what happened. I have no issue with this whatsoever. 10-0 if it's 20-0. No, first of all, the Germans in soccer, they're known for being assholes. Whether it's the club level or the national team, like, no, they're going to run the score up on you. They don't care.
Mm-hmm.
They beat Brazil in the semifinals 7-1 in Brazil, embarrassed them. Whole crowd, 90,000 Brazilians in tears. Like, they were not happy with them, right? But this is what they do. So to me, if you step on the field, bro, you're not entitled, but the possibility of you getting mauled and embarrassed, it's likely. So I don't think it's disrespectful.
No.
I don't think it's out of pocket. I think, hey, man, this is what you signed up for. Now, many, many years ago, the U.S. women's team in the World Cup, they beat Thailand, I believe it was, 13-0. I had no problem with it then. You know what problem I did have? When Megan Rapinoe scores the 9th goal and does a 30-second choreographed goal celebration, I'm like, what are we doing? Like, first of all, Megan Rapinoe,
that's disrespectful.
you're an OG. You've won World Cups. You're a veteran. It's not like it's your first World Cup and you scored a goal and now you're acting a fool. Like, I get it. If you're a 19-year-old, you score in the World Cup, even if it's the 10th goal, all right, cool, celebrate. I'm giving you a pass. But when you're a grizzled vet, it's like, that would be like LeBron James hitting a 3 up 30 and like bugging out.
Yeah.
Like, bro, LeBron, what do you, like,
Relax.
that's what Rapinoe had won multiple World Cups. So to me, like, I think it's more disrespectful if you don't put your best foot forward against an opponent.
Bro, can I lay it out for him though? Because I had to look this up because I was like, okay, 10-0 is disrespectful. There was 31 shots taken and 17 of them were on target.
Yeah.
It could have been way worse. You're lucky. Maybe this was them taking it easy on him. How do you know? It's all perspective. But the people that are writing that are the people that I think are trying. So now tell me, who's saying it's disrespectful? Are the players?
No, it's the media.
It's the community.
It's the media. It's people on the internet. It's a lot of people that, you know, with the times and they're sensitive and how dare you do this. It's like, bro, we're playing for, there's a lot of money at stake. And like I've said, you step on the court, you step on the mat, you know, you don't play fighting. So if you fight in a competitive environment, you might get head kicked and embarrassed.
Yeah.
Now, there's certain etiquette, right? Like if you're up 35 in a basketball game, maybe you don't take threes. Maybe you run out the clock and okay, cool. Or I remember when I was playing high school ball, when we would go up big on a team, my coach would be like, yo, we're not passing anymore. Handoffs.
Yeah.
And if we keep scoring, cool. But like, there's ways. All they did, they were just playing a regular game. And to me, I think it's corny to complain. I just think that, yo, you step on the field,
Yeah.
you go step on the mat, you might get embarrassed. I might stun on you.
I had to, I was 19 years old when I was a freshman head basketball coach at Las Vegas High School. We beat a team by 40 points, and I had to write a letter to the other school's principal explaining what happened, that, it's not us not trying to slow down the pace of us scoring, but that was 40 points in a basketball game, bro. And that just goes to show I had to do this 4 years ago. So that's a pretty soft rule. Like, I understand people are upset, and in high school, the discrepancies could be crazy, bro. I mean, there's teams that blow other teams out
Like
by
100. A legitimate 100 points team.
What about every year in women's college basketball where you see South Carolina have like 110 and the other team scored 33 points?
Yeah.
What is that disrespectful? Like, so it's funny to hear the soccer community go after this because 10-0, bro, to me, doesn't seem that bad.
When you consider that Bayern Munich is one of the richest teams in the world, can I give you a comparison?
Yeah.
Right now? Imagine if, like, let's say the Minnesota Timberwolves were playing a Tuesday night men's league YMCA basketball team. It's honestly, it might be that kind of comparison. Like, this team was an amateur team, bro.
So 10 goals is definitely them taking it easy.
They took it lightly on them.
Did you watch any of it? Just to be like,
dude, you want to hear something crazy?
go
My dad bet the correct score 9-0 because 9 was as high as it goes on FanDuel.
no,
And it ended 10-0, and he calls me, he goes, I don't think I'm going to bet anymore. This is wild. And mind you, 9-0 was like plus 700. 9-0 was plus 700.
Wow.
Dude, the alternate spread, because in soccer, like one of the ways in soccer that you can make big money is like, say you have a team favored, like Chelsea, for example. Chelsea played today. The money line, they were minus 600 against LAFC, an MLS team. But them to win by 1.5 goals, they were minus 120. So in soccer, you take the spread. That's a better way to make money in these major tournaments. Bro, their spread was like minus 6.5, minus 125.
Oh my God.
So, they were you had to put $30,000 to win 10. That's how much of a favorite Bayern Munich was. And to your point, when you look at it that way, bro, like they kind of were polite.
Yeah, of course.
They were polite. So let us know what you guys think, man. I find nothing wrong with it. I think, like I said, my stance has been consistent on that my whole life. And I've been on both sides of the coin where we've blown a team out, and I've been on the other side where we're down 40 going into halftime with $10,000 on the table for a Sunday morning football league. So I've been on both sides, and my whole thing was like, hey, bro, I feel like it's more disrespectful if you take it easy. Honestly, nah, run it up. We deserve this. So let us know what you guys think. All right, George.
Yeah.
We're one win away from plus 800, baby.
That's crazy. Everybody called you an idiot, a moron, and we are sitting here on the precipice of them doing it in the fashion that I had stated to before the series had even started, in dominating fashion. But now they head back to Indiana. So what are your thoughts on tonight's game?
Well, game 5 is going to be known as the Jalen Williams game. One day when he's going to be a free agent and he's going to command the north of, 270 with the new deals. And people are going to be like, I don't know if I want to pay him 270. They're going to be like, pull up game 5 where he went 14 of 25, 40 piece, both sides of the court. He was always the guy that if you got, and now we're not saying 40, if anyone gives you 40, you're going to win. But if he gives you anything, with what SGA does, it's a wrap. And that's what I think happened, bro. Something happened in the middle of game 4. Because, the bet was plus 800 that the Pacers were going to win game 3, then lose in 6. So now we're 1 win away from that. And at plus 800, might hedge. I don't know. See how soccer treats me. That's how I hedge. Am I winning that week? Am I down? That'll determine. Right now, doing pretty well in the soccer. Maybe might just let it ride for the gram, for the show, all that kind of stuff, right? So when he's doing that with you and then SGA gets you 31, it's going to be hard to beat. And then also when you look at it Caruso had a bad game from a scoring standpoint, but then we always talk about this, bro. In the playoffs, it's the other guys. Aaron Wiggins, Kason Wallace. They gave you 25 points. These are guys that were non-factors in the first couple of games, especially in Indiana, right? In Indiana, you got Caruso to step up because this guy's an NBA champion. He's the OG on the team. He's 30, 31 years old, but this is how young this team is. It's like the second youngest team in NBA history to make the finals. So you're looking at it like, all right, Caruso, he's a vet. He'll figure it out on the road. It's fine. But you get 25 from those two guys on top of 31 from SGA and then a 40 piece from Jalen Williams, and you're at home. It was just too much to overcome if you're Indiana.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. And all I could think today when watching Jalen Williams, being a Celtics fan, I'm like, this is Jaylen Brown. This is literally the rise that Jaylen Brown had, and now stepping up in the biggest moment is exactly what happened well before last year when the Celtics won the title, but in those other playoff runs where you felt very confident that your number 2 can get the job done at a high level, not fazed by the moments. They don't miss free throws, which has been crucial in these past couple of games. And I will say this, the game 3 in Indiana, which you had said Indiana was going to win, that was the very first time that I saw that Thunder team in a like a scared
Lights are too bright.
bro. They missed free throws down the stretch. And when they're making the documentary 20 years down the road, it is that game 3 moment where Indiana, hosting a playoff game for the first time in 25 years, is on their feet from start to finish. And the Thunder just had never seen it before. They weren't ready. And that will be the game that will forever be remembered as the Thunder have flipped the page officially. This team is about that action. They go and take care of business game 4. And then tonight, like I said, with the Jalen Williams and Jaylen Brown connection, kind of funny that they have the same name, I think it's pretty spot on.
Yeah.
And I think they are way better, SGA and Jalen Williams, than Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown were at this moment in time in their careers.
I mean, yeah, you look at the Celtics, it took them a decade, not a decade, 2016 is when they drafted Jaylen Brown 3rd overall, and then the year after, 2017, they take Tatum. But, they were making it to conference finals, and in 2022, they played the Warriors, and they were still young. But you kind of just knew, like, this team ain't going nowhere, right? Yep. They were making conference finals every year. And, yeah, you're right. That's a good comp, and then ironically enough, they have the same name. I wanted to ask you this. You know how, like, they always talk about it's a copycat league, and things change and one team wins one way and then everyone tries to do it. Of the 16 teams that made the playoffs, the Thunder are the 14th best 3-point shooting team. Again tonight, 11 of 30 from 3.
Wow.
14 of 32. 14 of 32 were the Thunder. 11 of 30 were the Pacers. My bad about that. But regardless, they're 14th of the 16 teams.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of teams can win the way they're winning. It's defensively. They got so many guards that are just annoying. Like, you ever play basketball with someone? You're like, this fucking guy, bro, just get away.
He's clapping in your face. 94 feet.
Yeah.
94 feet. You got
Caruso. You got Jalen Williams. You got Dort, obviously. And they're just an annoying team, and they don't need to hit all those threes. Yeah. Like, bro, they won game 4. They hit 4 threes, I think it was.
Yeah.
And you just look at all of the NBA playoffs, you don't hit double-digit threes, you ain't winning, let alone single-digit. So there's something about being efficient from, like, the elbow and always, dude, they were like 35 of 40 from the free throw line in game 4. Which brings me to what I want to end this show on.
Oh,
Scott Foster. Now,
tell me about it.
I feel very passionate about this. As someone that's been pro sports betting for a very, very long time, since 1991, I've been pro sports betting. I don't remember there being so much attention on referees, George, until like maybe 5 years ago when sports betting got legalized throughout the country. Now it's being covered by network television. Now, every talk show, you got to mention the point spread. Where in the past, you mentioned -7 on the air, you're fired, George.
Yep.
From ESPN, from Fox, from anywhere. You can't mention -7. You know what you could say? They're going to win by double digits. Now, George is a sports betting guy on the show. We love George's picks. He's the pro bettor. Oh, he's saying double digits? I'm going to take the -7, right? Oh, it's a 1-possession game. Oh, I'm going to take the +7, right?
Right.
I don't remember there being so much coverage on the referee. Scott Foster, his nickname is the
extender.
The extender, right? They put him in there because they wanted to force it to the next game. It's always fishy when he's reffing. Can I defend him?
Yeah.
He called it right down the middle, bro. The shit fouls he was calling on the Thunder, he was calling the same thing on the Pacers. With 7.5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, the Pacers were actually in the bonus.
Wow.
He was calling it right down the middle. And I have no problem with you. Where the Chiefs get a lot of fake hate, and the reason why I say that is because I remember reading this one post from Ryan Russillo. In the fourth quarters since 2020, the Chiefs only had one more personal foul in their favor than like against them. So, but your perception would be, dude, they get every call.
Because the moment matters.
The moment matters. It's prime time. It's the Bengals, and it's a first down. But you look at it, you're like, nah, it's like 51-49. But you would assume it's 80-20. And with Scott Foster, if you're a referee, if you call it down the middle, if you call shitty fouls in your favor, but you also call shitty fouls in my favor, I'm cool with it. And that's what I took from Scott Foster. It's not like he was calling every touch foul on Halliburton. No, SGA was getting called the fouls and Dort was getting called the fouls. It wasn't lopsided. But again, it's the finals. It's the narrative around him, the reputation, I should say.
Yep.
How do you feel about that?
I mean, I love it because it's an entertainment business. And I had to ask you this question because I honestly don't know. Has there ever been a notable WWE referee?
Earl Hebner.
Okay. So they have outlined this potential storyline before, but you always hear of like Hockey Lee in the NFL, just for the, being stacked, being yoked, being that guy. And then Scott Foster has always been the extender, like we're calling him. I think it's the coolest shit in the world that this can be something that we factor into when putting in a bet for one of his games. I'm in full agreement. If you're going to call it shitty both ways. There was a lot of fouls down the stretch that there's sometimes, bro, where I just wish basketball just like had a rule where like loose ball fouls aren't a thing. Like there's so many times where the ball is literally right next to a guy, but just because you try to box him out to get him, now we got a fucking loose ball foul. Like it's my least favorite foul called, and he definitely called some down the stretch in game 4. But no, bro, I fuck with Scott Foster. It's cool. I think Foster's a dope name. I like Bananas Foster. Scott Foster is he did the Celtics dirty in 2023 with a Jaylen Brown game where he got fouled out early. But I mean, we got to live with it. This is what the NBA is throwing at us. A wild card. And this is good for the ratings too, because everybody wants to tune in. They want to see the call that changes it all.
Yeah. No, and to your point, I would hate it if you watched that game and every call wasn't going in favor of the Thunder. And it wasn't. It was down the middle. I have no problem with that. Now, have there been games where, the famous referee, Tim Donaghy?
Yeah.
That's why the NBA has, and he mentioned Scott Foster in the documentary. He's like, hey, bro, Scott Foster. And that's the craziest thing to me, where everybody knows about this thing. And if you do know about it, capitalize. Like, take the Thunder in that situation. Take the team that's needing to extend the series. So that's how I feel about that. I just think it's something that, because of sports betting in the media space and social media, it's just become something that's covered more.
Yeah. And I have I'm going to try to find a way to get this interview with this old a Division I basketball coach. And he explained to me the politics that go behind what happens in Division I basketball, and then how you have to, bro, it's very like Illuminati-esque. You have to be inside the circle that's inside the circle, that they're going to have things to blackmail you. Like, it was wild, the shit that this dude was telling me at a dinner one night. And I want to find a way that we can like bring some of those insights into this show, but he doesn't want to be on camera or anything. So we might have to do like one of those like Vice documentaries. So he's talking They took a photo of me with a girl one night, and they showed my wife.
He talks
shit like that.
Kane in 1998, where you would have that thing under, like what the smokers would use.
I've always.
He'd have the mask, and we blur out the. Yeah, that's what we would have.
Cheetahs.
Yeah.
Listen, dude,
man.
it is a wild world, Nick, and I don't even think from Tim Donaghy's documentary to what's currently going on now, it's way wilder than what we could ever even imagine. The level of fuckery that goes on. But I still think that at the end of the day, it is handled by the athletes. That is still the majority. They have a strong hand. The officials have obviously a commanding hand, but it's like a 55-45 split towards the athletes.
When I was playing sports growing up, I would always tell my teammates, let's not let them decide the game.
100%.
If we lost a game and it came down to the last play and they didn't call holding on something, I will blame myself. But we shouldn't be in that situation. we should be comfortably winning so that if some fuckery does go down, we can't blame the referee for throwing the flag.
Yeah.
And that's how I always felt. It was always like, I ain't blaming the refs, bro. We just didn't get the job done. We're way better than this team. We should have won comfortably. We played it close and we lost because of this call, and we put ourselves in that position. That's how I've always felt that way.
And so I mean, all this referee talk, you do have to win them over. Is there a chance that OKC loses game 6 and the series gets extended? Do you see this as a realistic possibility, or was the performance today from the Pacers like we saw their final breath type of situation? Like unless they come out and punch OKC in the mouth game 6, like if they're not winning at half, they're not going to come back.
Yeah, it's really, that's a great question because I feel like this series should be over already. I think the Thunder are clearly the best team. That game 1 was just an epic collapse. And I don't know if you could call it a collapse because the Pacers have done that to everybody. So this is what they do. If you don't put them away, put the nail in the coffin, they're going to come back and beat you in the way that they did in game 1. But I think Halliburton might be banged up. I know he had 0 points at halftime and then has a little bit of a calf issue. And I think they figured them out. And that first half is going to be everything. Because if you take the air out of that building in Indiana, I'm hoping.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's end with this, right? I have plus 800. I have to win $800 if the Thunder win game 6. If they win game 6, I win $800. They are minus 280 to do so. They are plus 170 are the Pacers. Should I hedge?
I would hedge on. Would it be crazy to hedge on the first half?
No, I don't like doing that. I feel like you get greedy there.
That is being very greedy. I take that. But
That's
you see where I'm coming from?
No,
Where
for sure.
like,
you're trying to max out your.
That might be the most solid play. Like,
100%. I just think like, why get greedy, bro?
True.
Why not? I'm thinking of maybe throwing like $150 to win 325-ish. So either I win 325 or I win 625. That's what I'm thinking to do.
Wait until you see the report on what's up with Halliburton. I mean, bro, he finished with 4 points tonight.
Yeah.
Like,
Hey, I'll tell you this much. If he's who he says he is, we're going to bet that triple-double. Going to bet that 20 plus, 7 plus rebounds, 8 plus assists like I did.
Mm-hmm.
Could do that. Because he checks the box of that one video that we put out. Got about 500,000 views. Shout out to everybody supporting the show. When a superstar has a shit game, I love betting on him the next time.
Yep.
So maybe. But if they're like, he's hobbled, he looks awful, then all right, maybe. So you're right. I'm going to wait until the injury report and see if Scott Foster is the referee, then maybe we're hedging. We got to hedge.
Hedge is must. Hedge. Yes.
Hey, thank you all for listening and watching. Please rate, review, subscribe. Follow us on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, whenever George stops getting banned on TikTok.
I'm just doing my job, bro.
Twitter,
I'm just doing
Facebook, not Snapchat, maybe not yet. Add more to George's plate. At Nick Dais Tenors, you can find me. And George, where can they find you?
They can, if you find me, you win the game. Johnny Cucks was a New York Yankee, and he had 78 strikeouts in 1956. Johnny Cucks.
Top 5 sports name of all time.
Johnny Cucks. That's a real name. All right. Bye-bye. Peace.
Element, I'm a gold medalist, bronze like your medal is. So many deer in headlights, but it's bedtime. Hear that supper bell, main course, be the venison. Dab. Most dangerous game. Either kill or be killed.